What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another show. Very special guest, something to brighten up the mood during lockdown. A lot of people are down at the moment. I thought we need someone to make people smile and laugh. Darren Farley, welcome back, bro. Pleasure to have you back on.
How are you, mate? I'm buzzing to be back on. I've been watching all your stuff, mate. Brilliant. So I've been like, when's he going to ask me to get on? You know what I mean? When's he going to get me back on? Made up to be here, mate. Buzzing.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. I think I had you on. You came on about April, March last year. It was the start of the first lockdown.
Yeah.
Obviously, a year later, we're still in the same situation, although there is light at the end of the tunnel now.
Yeah.
How have you been during lockdown?
I've been okay, mate. I can't complain. I think that what it's done, if I'm honest with you, it has. I've got to be honest. It's kind of helped me become more creative. It's helped me think on my feet a bit more. Set up. I think I discussed with you last time, Curtis, that I set up a studio, which I probably should have done a long time ago, but it's allowed me to be more creative, and I've got my own little space now, which I never really had before. So it's been okay, mate. Obviously, the kids have been off. I've got a couple of little ones, so it's been keeping them busy, getting out for little walks, getting on the bikes. So it hasn't been bad, mate. You know what I mean? But it's one of them. You've got to be as positive as you can. That's the thing, mate. And you know what? I think we're not far off. Being as you said, mate, at the end of the road with it now. So we're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. And listen, it was great to get you back on because the great thing is the last two Arsenal managers, the current one and the previous one, obviously you do both of them. So that works well. Obviously, the majority of my channel is Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
And we've had a bit of a torrid season under Mikel Arteta. A lot of fans have been moaning about Arteta and his tactics. What have you made of Arteta this season?
Are you asking Arteta or are you asking Darren Farley?
I'm asking Arteta.
I think the team have played very well. I'm pleased about what we're trying to do for the team right now. But also handsome, because but we're playing well. Have to use the ball in the right way, but Said Sobub, he played very well and use the ball in the right way. But we have to be better for the team. We have to be better for the team to play well. But the players have to understand it takes a lot more time. It takes a lot more time to get the ball in the right areas. And we are doing well. We are challenging for the championship. So hopefully we can continue to do that. Do you know what, mate? You know what? I'll give you my personal take on Mikel Arteta as well. I think that you've seen this season as well with what Chelsea done with Frank Lampard. I thought it was a bit. I mean, you can look at it now and think Tuchel's coming in and he's done really well. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I thought it was quite harsh. I thought it was very quick. I think a few. It's happened with a couple of managers, mate, and with Arteta, you can see he's a proper coach. You've got a lot of time for Arteta. He's not someone that's clueless. I think he's just kind of finding his feet, and it's difficult for Arsenal fans, I think, mate, because you've kind of had that period where you've had this manager who's been so successful for years in Arsene Wenger, and then obviously Unai Emery's come in, and he's had his own issues, his own problems. And then Mikel Arteta, it's almost like you've got to give him that period of grace. But football is it's just, the pressure's unbelievable. And I think, to be honest with you, fair play to the fans. I don't think the fans have been too harsh on Mikel Arteta. I think they've backed him. I like him, mate. I like Arteta. I've made no secret of that. I think I think it's one of them where, if you back the manager and if you trust him, I can genuinely see Arteta getting Arsenal kind of back in that position where they belong. Because he come in, he had a great period where he done really well, a couple of trophies, mate, which is massively important. Look, the FA Cup and all the Charity Shield, but they're massively important trophies, and they were won against two very good teams, let's be honest. Trophies, he's got them in the bag, and then it's kind of been a bit of a yo-yo. It's been a bit up and down, hasn't it, mate, since then. But I like him. I really do like Arteta. I think he's... I think given the time, and I know it's not easy, mate, because look, Arsenal's a massive football club, massive. I think given the time, you can just see it. I've got a lot of time for him. I can see how hard. When you see him, he's a coach. Arteta, where you have managers and you have coaches. He's a proper coach. He's on the touchline constantly constantly, whether he's 2-0 up or 2-0 down, he's constantly berating his players, wanting them to improve. Just needs to be given time, mate, for me, and I do like him.
It's funny you said that, because a lot of fans of other clubs, they speak very complimentary of Mikel Arteta. I think we've just got that frustration within ourselves, because you look at Klopp and Pep. I know you can't compare Arteta to them too, but they're both great coaches, but they're both great managers as well. They deal with players very well. I think Arteta has struggled with the man management side, which is understandable because he's never been a manager. But I just think, the demand is so quick and so high now that fans find it very difficult to just sit there for a season and go, well, nothing's kind of happened this year, but maybe next year it will get better, especially when you're a big club as well.
Totally, mate. Totally. It's the era that we live in. We go back and we talk about I don't know, was Arsene Wenger successful straight away with Arsenal, or did it take time? I can't remember.
Pretty much straight away.
Straight away, yeah. Probably the best example would be Alex Ferguson, really. The time that it kind of took him, and you see managers, but it's a different game now. It's a different game where you just don't get the time. You don't get the time, and I think that man management's massive. It's massive. You say there about Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola. They're absolute genius when it comes to man management. The two of them. It's funny that, because I would have had a totally different view of that, Curtis, with Arteta. I would have thought that he would have been one of them who can kind of put his arm around the shoulder, or he's a very young manager as well. He's almost like he was playing not long ago. I feel like you know what I mean? So he's one of them. Frank Lampard, when he was at Chelsea, you could see that. I almost looked at him like he was still a player. I think he was like getting a bit personal with certain players, and he was taking things personal. Whereas as a manager, you've just got to be. I think you've got to have almost a balance, haven't you? You've got to have that balance of like, look, I'll be your mate, but when you do something wrong, I'll be your enemy, kind of thing. Klopp is like, he's in the dictionary, he'd be next to that, because he knows he's got that balance. So when you listen to the interviews listen to one with Andy Robertson, he was saying he's got that balance where, like, he can tell you off, but he can be your best mate. And with Arteta, maybe he's just struggling on one side, because if results are going well, no one cares. But if your results, it's not been a great season. I know that for you, mate. If results aren't going well, and the players will turn on you. The game's changed now. The players are just so much more powerful than the manager. But it's one of them, and I genuinely, honestly, you were saying about other fans of other clubs. I follow football, mate. It's like your YouTube channel. I watch loads of stuff on your channel because I follow football. I don't just follow Liverpool. Obviously, I'm a massive Liverpool fan, but I listen to stuff on United. I listen to stuff on Arsenal, Newcastle. Interested to know what the fans think, because I'm just a football fan. In general, do you know what I mean? But I think that with Mikel Arteta, it's just one of those situations where you can see that there's something there. He's not a bad manager. Patience is required, but I know how difficult that is. I know how difficult it is in this game, mate. I really do. This time also.
Yeah, man, it is. And with social media and that, you said the fans have been fair on him. I think he's quite lucky there's been no fans in the stadium. I think, Arsenal fans are very frustrated. I think if you had 60,000 in the Emirates when we're losing to Burnley and Aston Villa and teams like that, I think it may have been a little bit different, but, he's lucky in that sense.
Well, you know what? I think a few managers are made in the Premier League this year, Andy.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Steve Bruce at Newcastle, and you just think, the fans obviously don't fancy him at all. They haven't from day one, but my heart goes out to him a little bit, because he's not really being given a chance. From day one, the fans were on him. So I understand now, because Newcastle at the minute they're just not in a good place, are they?
Bad place.
But I think that I look at it and go, well, they were kind of on us back from day one. He hasn't really been given a chance, but you think he must be happy that there's no supporters in the stadium. And I think the same with Arteta. I mean, look, performances. Would the fans accept the performances? It's like Liverpool. Look what's happened at Liverpool. I honestly believe we're the genuinely most affected team by having no fans. Curtis, I really do. I think that I've never seen Liverpool play with such a lack of intensity. Since Alexander-Arnold had the ball for like 10 seconds, he just had his foot on the ball. And I was like, that just wouldn't be accepted. The fans would be like, move, get forward, hurry up. Now the fans are on you, and it's the same at Arsenal. You know, when things are going well, the fans are behind you, but when things are going wrong, wow, it can be toxic, mate, can't it? It really can, you know. But yeah, it's one of them, mate. A lot of managers are getting a bit of saving grace at the moment, aren't they?
No, they are. I think Liverpool have been. I think they've been very unlucky, man, and I think, you know, I haven't really seen a team have that many major injuries in one season to big players as well, like Van Dijk, and I also think the board have to come under question a little bit, because I looked at Klopp in January. I thought everyone in the world can see you need centre backs. You know, they're out all season. Go and buy in proper defenders. Now, I'm not disrespecting the 2 centre backs that you bought, but the champions of England to go and buy a guy from Preston and a guy from the bottom of the German league, it's like, give him 30 million, go and get him a proper centre half. So do you feel like you didn't back him properly?
Oh, I couldn't agree more with you, mate. Couldn't agree more. I was absolutely mortified, really. More so of the fact that you've got a manager here who's just like gone above and beyond. The club, I know the club have spent money, but compared to other clubs, I mean, they've got the best goalkeeper in the world. He went out and got Van Dijk, who was a massive player, but when a manager's gone out and won you the Champions League, he's won you the Premier League. You know, really should have been 2 seasons he won the Premier League. It was just a freak season where City won the season before. And Liverpool, you know, he loses it. That's where you've got to back the manager. You know what I mean? You've got to back him. And like you said, we've gone out and got Kabak and Ben Davies. No disrespect to these lads who, you can already, you know, who are good players, obviously, but it's like, wow, you know what I mean? If we were to lose Van Dijk, it's almost like the season's been writ off, really. You know what I mean? It's catastrophic to think that Liverpool don't finish in the top 4. I know we're in the Champions League, but it's a big ask to go and win the Champions League with the squad at the moment that we've got. And I couldn't believe the board didn't back him. And there's obviously the FSG have a strategy at Liverpool. They've had it from day one. It's worked like unbelievably well. You know, the Michael Edwards, who's just he's a bit of a genius. He's a genius, mate. I mean, it's not just players he brings in. The likes of Andy Robertson for like, I think it worked out about £5 million. I think he's the best left back on the planet at the moment. Other signings in midfield, you know, Mane 30 mil, Salah 30 mil. It's ridiculous. And then they've went out and spent big on the goalie and obviously Van Dijk, the centre half. But it's the players they've sold. Dominic Solanke went to Bournemouth for 150 million, I think, mate. You know what I mean?
It might as well have been that much.
I know. When I seen that, I was like, what? You know, I think it was about 25 mil. And there was a few players I was like, wow. Even Brewster, who, look, he's a good player. He's not done the business for Sheffield United. And you're talking £25 million, and, you know, you can't even get a game for Sheffield United. It's unbelievable, isn't it, to be fair, what he's done. And they're sticking with that strategy. And I think that's an issue, because this team's been together for like 3 seasons now. There has to come a time where you bring in 1 or 2. I know they brought Thiago in, who is a fantastic player. And, you know, he'll get there eventually. But they've got to look at it and go, well, eventually, you know, we do have to invest a little bit more. We do, because that strategy won't work forever. Sorry, mate. It won't work forever. So, you know, when you see Erling Haaland, you know, being linked with all these clubs, Liverpool are never in the frame. They're not even mentioned. United are mentioned. Chelsea are mentioned. Man City are mentioned. Liverpool are never in the frame because they know they won't pay the wages and they won't pay the money for the player. It's like Harry Kane. Someone was talking about Harry Kane the other day, saying, like, no, will he go to Man City? Will he go to Man United? I'm like, why aren't Liverpool looking at Harry Kane?
Yeah, the champions.
Champions, though. Champions of the world. Like, why aren't Liverpool in the mix? Because the fans of Liverpool know, no, they won't go for him. They won't go for him because they've got a strategy in place. But that, don't get me wrong, we've got an unbelievable front 3. I know that people will go, we don't need him. Listen, if you put Harry Kane in that front 3, look what he does. He comes back. There's no one better. Firmino's unbelievable, and Jota's a great player. But just I look at I think if you had Harry Kane in that front 3 with Mane and Salah, it'd just be frightening, because Kane is, for me, if not the best on the planet in the world as a striker. I've seen under Mourinho how good he is, because he's playing in a side that is just horrific to watch, mate. Horrific. They've got such good players, but why Mourinho was appointed, I'll never know, because they've got such talent. You know what I mean? And it's like, what a waste. And I look at Kane and think he still makes it work. You know what I mean? He still makes it work. He comes back for the team. You know, the way he'll assist for his teammates, the way he's an absolute monster, mate. He's unbelievable.
He's a top player. I think they probably bought Jose in just to try and win a trophy. I think they had enough of the good football and just thought win anything. But I agree with you, man. With Kane, I think. Can you imagine if Liverpool got him? Do you think Liverpool are going to have to sacrifice someone the same way you let Coutinho go to get, you know, Alisson and Van Dijk? Do you have to maybe sell a Salah to go and get 100 million to go or Mane?
Do you know what? I mean, sadly, it's a possibility, isn't it? It's a possibility. Because I don't see any other way where the club would go. We're not paying that. You know, we're not going to go out and pay this money for that player. You've got to look at the future. You'd have to be looking at, I mentioned Haaland before, and I don't think it'd be difficult to convince him to come to Liverpool. I don't think it'd be difficult. I don't think you'd be, you know, he fits in the category. He's a very young player. He's unbelievable. He's got absolutely everything. And you know, you could have this player for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? And, you know, winning your leagues, winning your Champions League. You've got to be in the hunt for him, because if he goes to Man City, we're not going to win another league, are we? You know, this is how good, you know, these kind of players are. We've got to kind of be in the mix. But you're all right, Curtis. You feel like sometimes maybe there would be a sacrifice. There would be, you know, a Salah going or a Mane. You're not going to keep them players forever. They'll want to go and test themselves in I think Barcelona always seems to be the one that gets mentioned. And people say, why would you want to leave Liverpool? Spot on. I totally agree with that. But I also look at it and think, I think players just want that lifestyle. They want to go to Spain. A lot of them have regretted it. Look at Coutinho. I mean, you know, wow. Right. But then you got your Suarez's mate who's still doing the business for Atletico and who've done well. But interesting to see what goes on, mate, because next season for Liverpool is massive. It's massive. Massive, because Liverpool have been talked about this being one of the greatest Premier League teams of all time. How can Liverpool be one of the greatest Premier League teams of all time? We won one league. Got to go and win 2, 3. You know what I mean? We're being, you know, compared with the Invincibles, compared with the United teams. How many did they win? You know, they dominated. And Liverpool, that's the challenge for Klopp, an unbelievable manager. It's almost phase 2 now where he's got to go again. And it got to freshen things up, because I think the players are knackered, mate, I'll be honest with you as well. That intensity that they play at, I think they're done in.
Yeah. No, you make a great point there. And obviously with Pep, he's going to spend every year. So, you know what I mean? They never stand still at Man City. I actually thought last year that Klopp had seen Pep off. He had 1 year left on his contract, and I thought maybe he's going to walk out. He didn't look too interested. But then he signed a new deal. They spent loads of money. They're going to win the league, and all of a sudden he's rejuvenated. So,
yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Because I was the same as you. I was like, wow, Liverpool are ready to dominate now. You just can't, right? If anything, it's made me realise what a top manager Guardiola is. You can talk about money and spending or whatever, but they, you know, for them to be knocked off the pitch and then to bounce back the way they have, you know. Yeah, and I don't think, to be honest with you, I've watched them a lot. I don't think they've been unbelievable.
No, I don't.
And they're not even at the top of the game, and they're still like 10 points clear or something, aren't they, United? So watch them against United. I was like, don't even recognise this team, but I think it's a bit of they're going to win it at a canter.
It's a strange season in the Premier.
It is, mate. It is.
Obviously, Arsenal. I want to get one more in for Arsenal. One of your best ones as well. Yeah, there we go. Unai, what went wrong at Arsenal? I mean, I did a show the other day asking whether you was better than Mikel Arteta. What do you think, Unai?
Best of good evening. First minute, Old Trafford. Mikel Arteta. Emery duel. Europa League final. But Arteta. Best of good evening.
I bet when you saw Unai Emery doing those press conferences, you must have thought, you're giving me gold here, an impressionist. Was he quite easy for you to do, Unai Emery?
You know what? It's one of them as well because I almost felt a bit cruel doing it took me a while to actually do him.
Yeah.
To do it. I went to call him Michael Emery then. I went
That's probably a good mix of the two.
That's the way it's going at the moment, isn't it? When I thought because he was struggling to speak English, and I did actually feel sorry for him. To be fair, I thought it must be difficult that when your results aren't going well, the players probably don't understand the word. It must be difficult for a manager, but obviously he was such a great character. He was a great. I seen it, instantly. You just go that I've got to do something with that, and it's the fun you can have with it. You know what I mean? It's the fun you can, and obviously, I take it to a different I make every character a bit. I think Emery. Nothing happens with his eyes in real life, but I've just got to. I don't know what it is. It's just to make it my own, if that makes sense. But Emery. Yeah, I mean it's another one in it with Unai Emery. I think that he was again. Don't get me wrong. Again, I can understand from a fan's point of view. You're an Arsenal fan, and Arsenal fans would have a totally different take on it. From the outside, you genuinely feel sorry for them because you're like, I don't think he's done that bad. I think he almost become a character of ridicule a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was because he couldn't speak English, couldn't explain himself, and he was getting judged quite harshly. This is again the world that we live in. You know what I mean? Where you just don't football, mate. You said before, Kate, to social media. I see it all. I see it all the time, mate. If you're upset fans, Spurs fans, mate. Wow, never seen anything like it. Honestly, when it comes Spurs fans, mate. If I do Harry Kane, check the comment section.
You know what? Arsenal play Tottenham this Sunday, actually. So while we've got you here, Harry Kane,
definitely, it's coming.
How are you feeling, Harry, about the North London derby on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously. Curtis, look forward to the game. I think it's a massive game. It's a battle for to finish 11th in the league. So I think we'll do well. Jose might get us out the half, the way we've been training this week. So I look forward to the game. I think we'll score 2. Yeah, I do. I think we've got the players, and the really strange Welsh guy with the man bun as well. He's playing well. I think we'll do well, Curtis. Yeah, obviously.
You know what? Do you ever meet any of these players? Because I can't imagine how Harry Kane would feel seeing you do that.
It's another one again with Harry Kane because it took me time to do Harry Kane as well. People kind of get the wrong impression. Pardon me, mate, with the way. Pardon the pun. Harry Kane is obviously has a different kind of voice. The way in terms of that, so you've got to be careful that because you don't want to offend anyone, mate. I'm just an impressionist, so. If Harry Kane, I didn't do Harry Kane for a while, but Harry Kane, when he obviously was becoming the player that he was, and he became England captain, it was like I've got to do Harry Kane, of course, like I would do Steven Gerrard if he was the England captain, or Wayne Rooney, or whoever. So it was similar with him, but Spurs, mate.
They get angry in the comments.
Wow, mate! Wow, honestly, I've never seen anything like it. That's the most Spurs have attacked, I think, all season. When I do a video, I swear, mate. Honestly, it's not like it. Not like they just lose the marbles, mate. I mean, I've always, I'm quite a. I'm hard to offend, mate, to be honest. I'll be honest with you. It depends what background you come from. You banter with your mates and, with my family and stuff like that. But it's just how much it gets to them. Just like Harry Kane's like a member of their family. You just lose the plot totally. And every time, it just gives me more ammunition, mate. It makes me want to do more Harry Kane videos.
I don't know why they get so angry. Kane, he's a boyhood Arsenal fan anyway, although he tries to deny it now.
Well, obviously. I didn't know that, mate. So my next video is Harry Kane in an Arsenal shirt.
And that'll do well, I'm telling you. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan, mate.
Spurs fans will love that one, Kate.
They'll love that one. I wanted to ask you, what's your favourite one? Do you have a favourite one to do?
There's probably a few. I love every impression that I do. To be honest, mate, I think that probably be my favourite to do. It's quite a difficult one, that, because there's no particular. I love doing everyone, really. You always want to do your newish characters, but I probably say my favourite to do is Brendan Rodgers. I'd say I love doing Harry Redknapp when he was more in the game. Loved doing Harry because he's such a great character. I've met Harry and he's an absolute diamond of a person. Carragher, Jamie Carragher as well. Love doing Carragher, another great, guy. They're guys who can, they can laugh at themselves. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's people who don't take it that way. But yeah, Brendan Rodgers again. You said before about when Michael Emery done his first press conference, and straight away you're onto it. But it was very similar with Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool because he was
got a lot of mannerisms, and Brendan as well.
His first press conference, I was in me mates actually, I was having a cup of tea in me mates, and we were sitting there, and we were like, wow, Brendan Rodgers, this is a big call, big job for him to give to someone. Like, at the time we were quite surprised, but in his press conference, I'd not really heard him speak. And then, it was just the things he was saying. He was just like, "Well, I'm so proud of this wonderful history here. The people, and Liverpool is a wonderful team, and, the group of human beings, and it was the wording." So
and you know what? You've got it so, but you sound so much like him as well. Like, that's the thing.
It does help, mate. It does help. For me, to be honest with you, Curtis, right? I love the mannerisms are massive to me. The voice is so important, mate. I understand that, but the mannerisms to be a person, because I've always had this idea of doing like a fly on the wall documentary, which we were going to do last year, but because of obviously the situation that we've had, we've not been able to get out and film in locations. So it would be like Brendan Rodgers in the changing rooms with the players, like fly on the wall. Then it'd go to like Frank Lampard, or then it'd go to Wayne Rooney, whoever. But Brendan Rodgers is such a brilliant character. And when I met him when he was Celtic manager, and he was great, actually. He was a really nice guy. And we were talking, and he was just, you could see that he was kind of like not wanting to do the things that he does in an interview to me. He was changing. He was like, the players had they played very good.
He didn't want to say character.
I could see it, mate. I could. And he just went to me, he went, "Darren, you do a really good job there. You do a really good job." He said, "You've got everything there." He said, my brother sends me all the content." He said, "I sit there and I laugh my wee head off there. I really do." But he said it with a really straight face.
I don't want to give you anything else to say. No, the Brendan Rodgers one is brilliant. I think one that I haven't heard you do yet. Well, I've heard it, but I haven't had you do it on the show. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Man United manager. He's having a bit of an up and down season. A lot of Man United fans are calling for his head, but he's second in the league. Ollie, how do you think the season's going at United?
Well, to be fair, Curtis, thanks for having me on. It's been fantastic. I think the players are doing well. I think that we're going to win the title. So close, and the players have got some brilliant players. Just 1 minute. Sorry, being shouted by my wife there. I think it's fantastic. I think the players we've got, Eric Jember, he's playing well, centre midfield. Phil Jones, he's doing well as well. Even though he's got a lot of scary faces, but we're doing well, Curtis, and hopefully, we will, win a trophy, and that's the fantastic future. So, Ollie at the wheel.
He's another one as well, isn't he? That absolutely fantastic. That's just the point, isn't it?
You know what? To be honest with you, right? I don't think Liverpool fans would be too happy with me saying it, but I think he's doing all right. Honestly, like people, it sounds like a mad thing to say, but Solskjaer, right? When it comes to those, it's like, you think about the Man United teams of back in the day, right? The managers who've gone in after Fergie, they've tried to continue going down the same route. You've got to bring your own identity in. United are hard to beat now. He's made them almost like they're playing like a mid-table team, but they're in the second in the league. They're in, late stages of the Europa League, and they got knocked out the Champions League, like. But he's almost like, even with the Man City game, tactically, though, you know, we can all laud all managers and say Pep, you know, is a genius, you know, Klopp's a genius, but I thought his tactics were absolutely bang on the money against Man City. And he's done it before.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's done it against Liverpool, and you're like, you know what? He's not that clueless. You know, he actually does kind of know what he's doing. He's got good people. He's got Michael Carrick and Mike Phelan, good coaches with him, but, you know, it's like, well, is he doing that bad? He's got to win something. And as Jamie Carragher alluded to on Monday Night Football, you never quite, but the only thing with him is he's not got the mentality at the moment of like a Man United manager where they were top of the league and he didn't look like we're not going to win the league. You're Man United. You know, you should be believing you're going to win that league. You know what I mean? It's massive. It's the same with Arsenal, mate. You know, Arsenal, it's a massive club. Mikel Arteta's got to be making them noises. You know, if Arsenal are in that top four at any point, because I do believe he will turn it around, I do. But you've got to be talking about the title, I'm not talking about getting in the top four. You know, you've got to be. The fans Arsenal fans don't want to be here, and we might squeeze into the Europa League or the Champions League. We want to be challenged. Arteta's job is to convince the fans in 3 seasons maybe, we're going to be challenging for the title. Do you know what I mean? You know, Arsenal are one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League history. You know what I mean? I was watching. I don't know if you watch it, Curtis, but that Prem Classics was on. And I was like, wow, that Arsenal team was just unbelievable. The players, though, like Patrick Vieira, Sol Campbell, Thierry Henry, Wiltord, Bergkamp, Pires, mate, the names just go on. It was just like, if you were playing that team, you'd be like, oh my goodness, this is like, we're not going to win this game. You look at the stature of them, the size of them, and the mentality of them. And that's why it's probably difficult for Arsenal fans at the minute, because it's like looking back and going, hang on a minute, how have we gone from that to that?
Darren, you know what? You know them days there that you're talking about? I used to go to games.
Yeah.
And I'm being totally honest. Outside of Man United, which was a flip of the coin because their team was equally as good.
It was, mate.
Every single game, believing we're going to win. Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, anyone. And you all had good teams, obviously, but I just felt we had too much. You know, we were always going to find a way. Now, I probably go to the top 10, even maybe down to like 14th. I would go to every one of them games, and it's like, I'm not sure. We could draw, we could lose.
Yeah.
And that's how the football club has done a complete 360. And it's painful, you know, when you've had such a high. Like now you're on top of the world. Well, last season and the season before. When it comes crashing down, you're like, how has it gone from that to that? You know, it's very difficult to deal with.
It's unbelievable, really, isn't it? How it can turn so fast, and that's why it's so crucial to make the right decisions. And the problem at the moment you've got is it's like time is required for the club to get back to where they are, but also now the problem you've got is the likes of Man City and the likes of Liverpool, Man United spending big money, Chelsea just spending money for fun. Yeah. It's so difficult for any manager now to go into Arsenal and really turn it round, because that team you're talking about there, well, Liverpool, when you see the fixture, if Liverpool were playing Arsenal, there would have been Highbury and then the Emirates, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, Henry. I just always think Henry will just absolutely blather our back four. It was fear, mate. And there was time. It wasn't like that with United, because Liverpool could turn United over on the day, but that Arsenal team was unbelievable. So I get what you're saying, mate. It's a massive frustration looking back. And Liverpool had that period. I didn't see a successful Liverpool. I was born in the 80s. So I started going at the match when Roy Evans was the manager.
Yeah,
it was a good team, but they were never going to win in it. And they were just too nice. You know, Man United were dominating. Then Houllier came in. First time I really thought we can do something was when Rafa Benitez got the job at Liverpool. Yeah. And you were like, you know what? These can go anywhere and win. He created a team of men, like almost like that Arsenal team, massive, tough mentality. You know, the likes of Carragher, Gerrard, Dietmar and Man. Just really strong personality. Sami Hyypiä, just massive. And he done that. I had this conversation with someone the other day, actually, mate. I've got a pal who lives in London. He's an Arsenal fan. And I said to him, look, if it didn't work out for Arteta, I know Arsenal have got an identity and I know the way that they play, but I almost feel like Arsenal need to become a little bit like nasty now. Yeah. Almost like that. Have you noticed what Ancelotti's done at Everton? Ancelotti's he's made them like he's made them horrible and hard to beat, and that's the first port of call. I know, listen, it mightn't be popular with Arsenal fans, Curtis, and I do get it because there's a certain way that you want to play. But if you brought a Rafa Benitez in, someone like that, who could just make you hard again to beat, you know, because like you said, mate, at the moment you look at Arsenal and go, I think even if you're like Wolves or you're Leicester or even if you're like, I don't know, who else could you say there in the bottom half? Brighton maybe. You could get a result, couldn't you? You could.
Yeah.
I think it'd be different if you came up against, you know, someone with a bit more of a, I don't want to say a negative approach, but almost like a more pragmatic approach. And I think maybe that could be the next call. Spurs have done that with Mourinho, but Spurs have got top talent. Shouldn't be playing that way. I know Arsenal have, mate. I know Arsenal have, don't get me wrong. But you almost feel like you just need to toughen up. Do you know what I mean? So I went off the beaten track a bit there, mate. But yeah, when Rafa came in, mate, things went up. But it only took until Klopp coming in that you were like, okay, this Liverpool could dominate again. Do you know what I mean? You've had that period where Wenger dominated. Wenger was unbelievable. Probably should have went a lot earlier than what he did, and I understand that. But it wouldn't have changed anything. If he would have went early, it wouldn't have changed anything. Whoever came in, it's such a difficult thing to repeat. I think Wenger was desperate to try and bring that success back, but it had just gone so long. And it is, mate, it's a challenging time ahead. But I said it to you at the beginning, mate, Arteta is a man. I look at Arteta and think he will be a top manager in the future, whether that's at Arsenal or someone else. I feel as if the club back him and just stick with him, I think you will end up right back up there, mate, because it's still one of the best teams to watch, mate, in the Prem. Play some great football, but at the end of the day, possession means nothing, mate. It's all about
goals. I think at the end of the day, Arsenal fans, whether you like Arteta or not, I mean, you mentioned Ancelotti there. That's a manager I would have loved us to have appointed. But we haven't got great owners, not very ambitious owners.
Yeah.
Whether you love Arteta or not, we're gonna have to sit tight. He's gonna have to have next season go again, get rid of players, bring players in. You know, I think with Liverpool, you got rid of the owners, didn't you? The fans effectively got Hicks and Gillette out the door. I think we're in a similar situation. We've got Kroenke, pragmatic owner, if you like, self-sustaining model, won't put his hand in his pocket. It's very difficult. You kind of hit the jackpot with Coutinho. Neymar left. Barca had cash on the hit. They paid way over the odds.
Yeah.
You bought Alisson and Van Dijk, and that took you to the next level. You know, we're going to have to do something along those lines, maybe.
It's so difficult, mate. You're spot on there. Though the Van Dijk signing for me was a difference. That signing was the reason Liverpool won the league, man. People can go on about that front three. No, Van Dijk's Liverpool's most important player by a massive stretch. But Arsenal would need to do it. And like we were saying before, Michael Edwards, who's at the club, the philosophy and the businessman that he is, what he's done has been unbelievable. Wouldn't call it a fluke, but it's like, wow, where are you going to get someone who can do that? It's just incredible business. Arsenal will pay over the odds for players who are not going to be game changers. The good players, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to be game changers, are they? And that's the problem, mate.
Let's talk about an ex-Liverpool player. He's gone up to Scotland and won that league title. What a season for him. Steven Gerrard. I mean, there's even rumours if Klopp, in the next year or so decides he's had enough, you might see Stevie G back at Liverpool. What a season it's been for you, Gerrard. How are you feeling?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm feeling okay. It's been a very busy week. We've been preparing for the Europa League, but it was a great feeling, Curtis, to go and win. One of the greatest leagues in Scotland. Incredible, mate. It's been a busy week. We've been preparing to drinking loads of lager, drinking loads of vodka and iron brew, eating loads of haggis. That's what you do in Scotland, innit? So, been doing that, preparing. And yeah, I am still bladdered. But look, it's an incredible feeling. Look, I don't want the job. I think Jurgen's doing a great job. Is the job going? Do you know? Do you know if the job's going? If it is, I'd be interested. But I think Jurgen's doing a great job. And if he gets it wrong, I won't be delighted to go and step in. But look, if the job's available in the future, I'm talking, 3 weeks. I'd love to go in and do a job, Curtis. Yeah.
That one is bang on. Have you met him before as well? Because he's quite a serious guy, isn't he, Gerard, by the look of it?
Yeah, he is. I've met him. When did I meet him? Very briefly. So it was just a how are you kind of thing. No conversation. Just very straightforward. But to be fair to him, he's done an outstanding job. He has at Rangers. Like, that's incredible, the job he's done there. It's look, it was quite a clever thing he's done taking the job. But what people don't realise, I work in Scotland quite a lot, so I've got quite a few mates in Glasgow now, and yeah, I thought Liverpool, Liverpool, the city, was mad about football, and then I went to Glasgow, and I was like, wow, they are fanatical, obsessed, and just, you can see the intensity in the clubs, Celtic, Rangers. It's just unbelievable how obsessed they are with football. You can't go anywhere without them talking about football, and I mean that anywhere. And I think that he's gone in there, and if he'd got it wrong, I think it would have kind of like finished his managerial career, because there's only, it's a small league, but Celtic were that dominant.
Yeah,
he's gone in, and I know it's took him a couple of seasons or whatever, but that's some turnaround, that, because he's not just beat them, he's absolutely battered them now. Like, battered them. But it's like Rangers in Europe. Rangers are like nearly in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Gerrard, tactically, he looks like he knows what he's doing. Again, we mentioned Ancelotti and Rafa before. It looks like he's made Rangers a horrible team. They're my favourite teams, those types of teams, because they're hard to beat, and there's something behind it, you know what I mean? Instead of just constantly trying to do daft things, playing out from the back. Football, you've got to use common sense in football, haven't you, sometimes, mate? And he's done a brilliant job, he has.
Is the feeling amongst Liverpool fans that, listen, when Jurgen goes, is he the man to replace him, do you think?
I think a majority. It's more of an emotional thing for me, though, because this is the way I'll say it to you, Curtis, right? Neil Lennon won the league the year before, the 2 seasons before. Now, would Neil Lennon get the Liverpool job based on winning the league? So as well as Steven Gerrard, and I know it's different because he's done an unbelievable job. For me, he wouldn't be the best man for the job, but I do think he'd succeed, but I think it'd be too soon for him now. I'm hoping, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, that Klopp's going nowhere for like years, mate. Years. I'm hoping he's there for the next 10 years. But I think with Klopp, I always felt that he wouldn't be there forever, and I feel like you just don't know in football what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If Liverpool don't win the league in the next season or two, he might walk, or the club might get rid. They will appoint Gerrard. I think that's a fact. They will appoint Steven Gerrard. Me personally, would I go for Gerrard? I don't know. It's a tough one for me. But then I look around and think, well, who would I go for? I'm a big fan of the guy we beat in the Europa League, Nagelsmann. It's funny that if Brendan Rodgers wouldn't have managed Liverpool,
you'd have took him.
I think he'd be the favourite for the job. It's mad to say that, isn't it? But you look at the job he's done, but obviously that wouldn't happen. So I think the club would go for, and he'd walk into a job with a very good squad, a young, exciting squad, and he'd succeed. He would, because Gerrard knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He can deal with the pressure. He can deal. He was Liverpool captain in a city where it's like a fishbowl. He handled that incredibly well. He's gone and managed Rangers under incredibly difficult circumstances, and he's done what he's done. I think I think they would appoint him, But I'm undecided whether he'd be the right man, mate. I am. I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
I think, like you said, it's the emotional thing. If Thierry Henry was winning a title somewhere, you know, we're going to be like, we've just got to take a chance on him. He's too much of a legend to say no. But
well, Curtis, it's like Lampard. It's like Lampard.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard, right, has got a big future in football. Well, look what he done at Derby County, right? He made Derby County a brilliant side. He's done a great job. But the Chelsea job was too soon. It was too soon for him. Not just the fact that we're talking about a big job, we're talking about Chelsea. You get 5 minutes in the job. Honestly, mate, Tuchel, right, will be there for, I reckon he'll be there for about a year and a half. He's a good manager, but it's a honeymoon period at the moment. He's another one. It was like Lampard when he first went in, flavour of the month. Everyone loves him. As soon as things go wrong, we'll get another manager now. It's more. It does feel like it's just more of a, for Abramovich. Sometimes you just feel like it's just something to do. Second managers, but
Abramovich runs that team really. He's basically like the manager, isn't he, and the owner.
He is, mate. He is, and I think with Lampard, he was like quite young. Didn't it was similar to Arteta. He was playing not long ago, and I felt as though if he, in terms of man management and that, he probably took a lot personal because I just felt like with Lampard, it's like Brendan Rodgers. He took the Liverpool job too soon. Then he went to like Celtic. He's gone to Leicester, and I think he's an outstanding manager, mate. Outstanding, brilliant, Curtis, really, and he's revived his career. But he just, you look at Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool. Brendan Rodgers wasn't backed, mate. He wasn't backed. You can, if you look at the two, if you look at Rodgers and you look at Klopp, Rodgers he'd have all of the right in the world to come out and say, well, I'm not being funny. They give me Simon Mignolet, they give him Alisson. I got Colo Torre, he got Van Dijk, he got Ricky Lambert, he got Mane and Salah. The Klopp is a great manager, but the recruitment's been unbelievable for him. That can't be denied. With Brendan Rodgers, like he was, I think as well, Rodgers, because he wasn't a big name, he couldn't entice the players.
No, he couldn't.
And then again, with Frank Lampard, it almost felt okay. You can entice the players, but it's almost too many. I think he bought like 5 or 6 forwards, didn't he? And you're like, well, you should be playing the same front two every week, front three, and he's chopping and changing. Lampard should do what Brendan Rodgers done and go to Celtic. Honestly, right? Go to Celtic, win a few trophies, knock Rangers back off that perch. Again, you're in demand. Look, Steven Gerrard being linked with the Liverpool job, Brendan Rodgers back in the Premier League. It's those decisions,
Yeah, them decisions can really help you. You just touched on the Derby County job there. And we all know who the manager is there now. Some people still can't believe he's in management. But Wayne, how's it going in management now at Derby?
Yeah, I think of course it was always a great honour to be given the County Derby job. It was great, and look, I think that the thing for me is we've got a lot of very good players, and I think we're doing really well. We're hoping to get promoted to League One this season, and we're just closing in on that bottom 4. And if we can do that, that's the club. I said I'd take the club to a different league, and that's certainly what I'm doing. But look, I'm delighted to say, Curtis, as well. I've been offered a contract extension. Look, the club offered me 12 months, but I said no. Look, I want a year. I felt that was right. So it's going really well at the moment, Curtis. It really is. So.
You know what? I love that one. Obviously, where did that American football hat come from, man?
Well, I'll tell you the story, mate. Right. So when he went to America, right, I thought, what are we going to do with Rooney now? Right, there's always something with Rooney. When he was at United, he was just Rooney, but then he went to Everton, and he said something about pajamas. He's still got Everton pajamas, so I just used to wear Everton pajamas for his character, Rooney. Yeah. So when he went to America, the idea was
American football.
What can I do? Like the fact that, what can we do here? And originally, I was thinking of putting him in, what was it? I think it was basketball, believe it or not. I don't know why, but I was going to have him in like a basketball top with like a basketball. But then I thought, hang on a minute, American football, obviously. The idea was to do one sketch with Rooney with the helmets on,
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, he's in America. It makes sense that he thinks he's playing American football.
Yeah.
When he came to Derby, you know, the idea was to lose the helmet, but people were upset, mate. They were upset when we lost the helmet. People were like, "Where's the helmet? Where's the helmet?"
Yeah.
The helmet's here to stay. The helmet's going nowhere now.
I love that. Have you ever met him?
No. I don't think he'd be. I don't think he'd send me a Christmas card, mate. I'll be honest.
No. Absolutely brilliant. But I'll tell you one that I like as well is Steve Bruce. I always talking about the Babs and Joel Linton. Steve, you know, you're probably lucky there's no fans in the stadium this year. You're fighting relegation. How's things at Newcastle?
Well, you know, Curtis, I've got to say, you know, it's a very difficult time, but I feel as though the club's going in the right direction. You know, we've got some wonderful players. Joe Linton, absolute genius. What a player, Curtis. You know, he could be, you know, he's an incredible striker. He really is, and he's an absolute brilliant lad. We've got some wonderful players. You know, I think that, you know, I've had a couple of problems in training, a few scraps lately as well, you know, with a couple of players, and, you know, with Matt Ritchie, you know, we had a little bit of a scrap, and, you know, and that was, you know, the way it was. But it's a very difficult group to manage because, you know, you try and pass on your expertise, you know, of you know, relegating Hull City, but they don't really take it on board, you know. And it's with Joe Linton, let me tell you, Curtis, next season he will bang goals. He will, because the Championship's totally different to the Premier League. You know, he will do, Curtis. He's what a fantastic player. But Curtis, I've got to go because of just the delivery's just come. It is lunch. Well, it's breakfast lunchtime, so I've got to go and, you know, have me mid-morning snack of a doner kebab, cheesy chips, and side of onion rings, mozzarella sticks, and some strawberry gatto as well, followed by some more cheesy chips and a hamburger.
That one is brilliant, man. Oh my days! The way you do his eye, because he's got a foot.
Do you know what I've met? Do you know what, mate? Right, I'll be honest with you. Right, Steve Bruce is probably the nicest fella that I've met. Yeah. So I always feel like when I met Steve Bruce, he was Aston Villa manager, and Aston Villa invited me to go and do like an event with him. So he was doing like a bit of speaking, and I just went on. He was fantastic. Such a nice guy. He took everything, you know, he was laughing at the impression. He was having a joke. He was brilliant. And I always feel bad when I do Steve Bruce because I really like him. Do you know what I mean? But you've just got to go with the narrative. I want him to do well at Newcastle. And if he was, the content would be based around what a genius that Steve Bruce is. But, you know, obviously the fans aren't feeling him. And he's not getting results, so you've just got to go with the narrative, really, which is like, you know, taking the mickey a little bit out of him. But top man, he was a nice guy, mate, a nice guy. So he's the one that I when I do Steve Bruce, I'm like, a bit bad. Yeah, I feel a bit bad because he's a proper, honestly, like a really nice guy. That's the only way I can describe him. You know what I mean?
Do you know what was funny, right? Because I do the watch-alongs of the games, and obviously
I've seen the Derby one you were doing, the Liverpool one.
So I did. Obviously, we drew with Burnley at the weekend, and I took a bit of one of your things after the game. I was like, just lost to Burnley. They eat bricks and chew nails.
Yeah. Now they're old school, aren't they? When we talk about like Sean Dyche, mate, he's done a phenomenal job there. Phenomenal. Like, people talk about Big Sam, you know, Tingo and putting fires out and that. Mate, Sean Dyche would be me go-to. What he's done with Burnley, wow. On a shoestring budget, mate. They don't spend a penny. And he is like, I can understand that. The fact that the players are eating bricks and wooden nails, Arsenal should be beating them. That's a fact. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But no, he's a top. I'll do a bit of go on. Ask me a question at Dicey. I'll do a bit of Dicey for you.
So Sean, what did you make of the 1-1 draw with Arsenal? Was you happy with that point?
No. I mean, look, Curtis, I'll be honest with you right now. Right, we look at Arsenal and we go, guaranteed 3 points. Guaranteed 3 points. I've all said, and, you know, look, mate, you know, we should have went there and got the job done. The players before the game, you know, we obviously had some glass and some cement and, you know, had a nice meal before it. And then, you know, it's only Arteta, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's not a real man. he's not a real man. You know what I mean? He spends too much time combing his eyebrows that he does, talking about tactics. But Curtis, I was gutted. 1-1. We dropped points against Arsenal, mate. We really did. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. But yeah, that's the way I feel.
That is brilliant. I love it when you put like the bold hair on top.
Yeah, the bold top, mate. Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Do you know what, mate? I was doing for some reason, I don't know why I was, right? But for Sean Dyche for about 4 or 5 years, I was spraying my hair orange. And then after 5 years, like someone pointed out, Sean Dyche has got no hair. Oh yeah, okay. I went and got a ball cap, mate, but I'm using the ball cap for Rafa as well. So any Rafa bits that I do
the other day,
comes in handy, mate. It comes in handy,
Yeah, the Rafa one. I saw that one. Do you know one thing I wanted? Because I'll let you go shortly.
Hey, mate.
The Carlo Ancelotti, that story, I love that because obviously the Luke Garbutt situation, and I love the fact that he even commented on your post. For anyone who don't know, Garbutt was an Everton player, got released. Ancelotti was asked about it and didn't even know who he was. And you copied it, and Luke Garbutt commented on it, laughing his head off, which I thought was brilliant, man.
I love that, mate. I love that. Luke Garbutt, it was class, that, mate. It was class, but it shows you. I done one the other day, and I done, who was it that I done? I done a few new characters. I done Micah Richards, which is still very much in production, very much. But it's good to put new characters out. But Micah Richards commented, with a few laughing emojis, and what, mate? I think that. Well, listen, I don't expect any people to jump on or whatever, but it's always nice. I love people that can laugh at themselves. You know what I mean? People who can take a joke. It's a sense of humor. There's nothing personal about it. Like nothing. Honestly, it's a compliment, really, mate. I love football, and anyone that I do, there's no person I do, mate, an impression of. There's no one I've never met or no one in life that I've got dislike for, mate. Just not me as a person. So when you get people who, Jamie Carragher's one of the best for it as well. Jamie Carragher will always retweet a vid or laugh at a video. He's another one who can take it and can have a laugh about it. And it's always, I always say, I think that if you can laugh at yourself, you're fine in life. And I've always said this about, because we mentioned before about the social media. I mean, Twitter is insane when it comes to what did he call it? Solemn. I honestly, mate, it's insane. Some of the stuff you get on there. It depends on the person, really. But if I laugh, I genuinely laugh. It doesn't bother me. You worry for people who it would bother. Do you know what I mean? Because you're it's not nice to be talking to people like that. But it comes, if you can laugh at yourself, you can laugh what people are calling you. I couldn't have a go at anyone for saying something about me. I take the mickey out of other people. That's what I do. Do you know what I mean? Nothing personal about it, but it's just, that's what impressions are. And most of the time, the reason the football fans will get upset is that most of the time you'll hit a story which will affect that football club. For instance, if you, I think I've done, if it's maybe, if I've done an Arteta one, maybe. But to be honest with you, mate, Arsenal fans, I've never had any problem with Arsenal fans. There's certain clubs who, Everton and Tottenham are the main two for me. Everton makes sense because I'm a Liverpool fan. I get that. I understand that. That's the way it is. Tottenham one, I don't get. It's just weird. But the likes of Arsenal, Newcastle fans are brilliant, mate. Brilliant. They can laugh at their own club. Rangers, Celtic. There's certain clubs who even though you're taking the thing out of their club, they laugh about it. And one that surprised me a little bit as well, Man United. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm a Scouser, obviously, but you think that United fans would give you grief. They don't,
They've been all right with you.
You know what, mate? You learn a lot about people. You just learn and you go, you know what? No, they can take a joke. I'm a person who can take a joke. I can laugh at myself. So I love other people who can do that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's funny, mate. In the world that we live in now, certain teams, you go, wow, they are very easily offended, whereas other teams will love it and go with it. Do you know what I mean?
with it, yeah. No, but that Ancelotti one is definitely brilliant. I like that one. He's like a mafia boss, isn't he? How he carries himself.
Yeah, you create a character. So with Carlo, he's such a serious character. But you were saying before about like man management.
Yeah.
And I read a biography on him. I read it before he went to Everton, to be honest with you, because I've always been a massive fan. I was gutted when he went to Everton. I was like, wow, what an appointment that was from Everton. Fair play. He got a top manager. And he's like, the job he's done at Everton's unbelievable. But apparently, every club he's been at, when he's left, people are in tears. Like players are like crying, staff members. His man management is unbelievable. The respect for him, tactically, he knows what he's doing, but apparently he's such an unbelievably nice man. So the staff looks after everyone, makes sure everyone's looked after, but the players as well. It's like that Klopp thing we talked about, the balance where you respect them and you don't want to upset them, but he's also, he'll give them a hug when they need a hug. And look, mate, I think you said there, I think when Everton appointed Ancelotti, Arsenal were appointing Arteta. You think, don't you, like
other way around? Maybe it should have been, you know,
from a proper. It's such a difficult one because you go for the up and coming manager who's going to play this style of football, or do you go for the old school manager? But this old school thing, you know, Carlo Ancelotti knows how to get teams playing football. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and you know, obviously with being a Liverpool fan, when he went to Everton, I was like,
it was a bit gutted. Carlo, what have you made of your season then, Carlo, at Everton so far?
Yes, very much, guys. Thank you very much for having me on. The fantastic, because the Shora TV. Yes, for me, it is going very, very well. Curtis, yes, because we are Everton is here, Liverpool is here. Yes, this is the position. But yes, Curtis, we play very, very well, and the players they listen to me because if they don't, they sleep with the fishes, right?
That is brilliant, that one. That's a really good. Before you get out of here, I'm going to let you go. I didn't expect it to be this long.
That's all right, mate. I said, listen, you know, I'm here all day. Don't worry.
All day. Mikel Arteta, one more. A big week for Arsenal. Obviously, Europa League, Olympiacos, and Tottenham. What are your hopes for the week, Mikel?
Well, Curtis will play very well. The team play very well, but we have to focus to prioritize both the teams. They play very well, but as Hansen, for me, we have to prioritize. Do we want to finish in the top 14, or do we want to win the Europa League? It's a priority. We have to look at that, but I just need time. Curtis, I just need time to change things at this football club. 14 years, and we will be in the top 4.
And that's a great way to sum it up. 14 years and we'll be in the top 4, people. Darren, listen, I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome, mate.
You've got your YouTube channel as well that's doing well, and you work with, is it Mansions you work with?
Yeah. So we were at the moment, yeah. So we're sponsored, the YouTube channel and all the social medias were sponsored by Mansion Bet, mate. So a lot of content goes on my channels, but a lot goes on Mansion Bet's channels as well. At the moment, mate, there's loads of stuff going on, you know, relating to every team. Bit of Arteta, bit of Unai Emery, few of the other things, depending on what's going on. But there's so much going on at the moment in football. There's constantly stories, mate. There's constantly vids to be putting on. So yeah, keep up the good work with the show, mate. I'll be watching yours, and if anyone wants to get over to Farley TV, get on me.
Yeah, go over there and subscribe. Great channel, man. Literally the best impressionist around at the moment.
Oh,
mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
But thank you for coming on. Hopefully I'll get you on in the future, and keep in touch, my friend.
No problem. Thanks, Curtis. Take care, bud. Thanks, mate.